everyone, Sophia here for my great challenge. Welcome back to my channel. This is day number 13 and yes, it is a sewing video. Sorry. Hello Kitty. She's coming to the basement now. I wanted a quilting partner, but she doesn't really come to the basement all that often. I think it's because it is cold, or at least the floor is. Anyway. Hi, well come on, here we go. Here's my little kitty. Say hello, Fiona. Anyway, yes, it is a sewing video. I really don't have the time to do anything else today. Maybe you'll see her like this shaved back, the poor girl. And then something happened to her tail too. Don't make me lose focus, okay? Yes, all right, come. You want to come here? Me and my pets. There's lots of them in the house. All right, come. I'll pet you, but you can't stay on my pattern. So anyway, yes, I don't have, here, you have a little square here. Do you want to sit on there? No? Okay. Well, figure out where you want to go. We don't know. Okay. Yes, so it is a sewing video. I worked until 12:30. It is 3 o'clock. I made a stop by my P.O. box. Got a great, gorgeous card from Debbie, and I posted that on my Facebook and Instagram. If you didn't join me there, do so that way you can get to see stuff that's not on this channel. Thank you, Debbie. It's beautiful. Even Scott said it was beautiful, and he's the artist. So anyway, I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow. There's going to be some more sewing, but I'm going to try to do something other than that. So what I've done so far is that I've made one full sleeve and it's attached. I'm pretty darn proud of myself too. I'll show you. Because I wanted to learn how to do the cuff off camera, so now I have to do the second sleeve. So that's what I'm going to do today. I have about 3 hours worth of sewing. So I'm probably going to be done with the sleeve, and then I'll start doing the skirt with the pockets, which I've never done pockets before. And I wanted to give you an update. So several updates. One, obviously I don't read patterns well. The collar was supposed to be folded on this part right here. Well, not folded, but sewn together before you flip it over. So that way it would give you a nice finish edge. But apparently somebody told me in the comment section from yesterday that there has been reviews that people complain that the collar length is too short. And apparently I guess they had similar problem than me if they also did not read the instruction, which the odds of that are very, very, very low, like 0.00001%. We all know I don't read instructions, or if I do, I don't understand them because I don't know how to sew. So anyway, once you pointed me out to the direction of maybe it needed to be sewn before you flip it, I looked at the instructions again today, and it doesn't really say so in the instructions. I just want to be clear. However, the illustration clearly demonstrates a dotted line on the edges. So I missed the mark on that. So how am I going to fix that? Well, I have to undo a good part of the collar here, and I'm going to fold it, and I'm going to do it with understitching, split stitch, or whatever you call slit stitch. So I'll do it by hand, and I'll try to do as good of a job. I could do the bias, I could put a decorative edge. I thought I had red rickrack. Apparently I don't. I must have used it for a project which is not in this house, so I must have gifted something to someone at some point that had red rickrack. If it's you, you know who you are. I just don't know where my red rickrack is. Okay, so that's that. So obviously I'm gonna have to redo the collar, and then that's it. So let me show you what I've done today. It didn't take long, but it was kind of like, I'm not crazy about the cuff, the way it came out, though I think that for a first one it's not bad at all. But the top of the sleeve, oh boy. Now that I'm going to brag about, because there's not one pucker, not one fold. It is perfectly aligned. I did a great job on the sleeve. So yeah, I'm going to give myself a pat on the back for that. So let me show you what it looks like, and then we'll go dive into it. I'm sorry if you're not into sewing and this is not your type of video. For those of you who are into sewing or want to learn to sew, I don't know if I'm the one to teach you. Very clearly I'm not. But I know that some of you enjoy those videos, so I try to make them as relaxing as possible. If you are new, I am teaching myself how to sew. I have very limited basic skills. I quilt, that I know how to. I think I'm pretty decent at quilting, but sewing, not so much. I lack dexterity. I lack focus to read the instructions, obviously, and I like the techniques and the terms. The terms, like, they're just Chinese to me right now. But I'll get into it. I'm determined. I am committed to teaching myself how to sew. It might take 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 10 years. I really don't care. This is my goal. I want to learn how to sew. Not to be a seamstress professionally, but because I want to make my own stuff. And I really enjoy it. I enjoy the process. It's like putting a puzzle together. It is very, it involves every part of you. Your emotions, definitely. It imparts your creative brain. It imparts your physical as well, because it is taxing physically. Like, you're hunched over the machine, you gotta get up, stand, sit down, bend, all sorts of things. It's a full immersion. So if you're looking for something to help you with mindfulness, and help you with anxiety, and help you with filling your day, in particular during those COVID years. I'm going to say years because it seems that it's not going anywhere. Folks in the UK, my heart goes out to you, really. It's got to be tough. So if you're by yourself, and you really like bored beyond tears, you don't know what to do, because you're so isolated, pick up on sewing. Before you know it, it's 7 p.m. Seriously, you really get immersed into it. And this is my me time. This is how I unwind. I never know how to say it. And after 28 years in this country, you would think that I would know how to pronounce words. I don't know. Ask Arnold. Anyway, so let's dive into it. I'm going to show you my sleeve, the cuff, and close-ups on my poor collar because it's garbage. But I will fix it. So here goes, and for the purpose of this dress, we're going to call the mannequin Grace, because I think that this dress looks like something Grace Kelly would wear. So Grace is going to show you where we are with the sleeves. Okay, so I made a cuff. You know what? I need to put my glasses on so I can see what I'm showing you. So here's the cuff. It's my first one. You see the edge stitch here. So I don't think I did too bad. And the seams are pretty good here. They're matching. And here's the inside of it. I think there's way too much here. So the cuff could probably be a little bit longer than this. But obviously I'm going to have to match the second cuff to the same width here. The reason why I pulled this in a little bit more is because I was afraid it wouldn't catch the seam. And you'll get to that in a second. So this is my cuff, my very first cuff. And this is not a cuff with a button or anything. So I'd say not too bad. I give myself a B- on this. But now, look at this sleeve. Look at this. It is. Let me turn Grace here so you can see. Okay, look at this. How about that? How about that? It looks great. I only hope that I can replicate this result with the second sleeve. So now let's look underneath, because what we're looking at is whether or not the seams match. There we go. How about that? I'm so proud of myself. So yeah, I tried the sleeve on, and I gotta be honest, this is too wide. So it kind of falls below my wrist. So the idea, I think, is to pull the sleeve a little bit up on your forearm so that it poofs a little bit more like a chef's hat, kind of like this, right? You get the point? Okay, so now let's look at this horror right here, because I didn't give you close-ups yesterday. All right, so here's the issue with the collar, and I folded it here. Usually, this is longer, and then what you do is that you fold this in with the other one folded in, and you finish it by hand. Apparently, for this particular collar, you were supposed to, when this part here is folded back this way, you were supposed to sew it and then what do you call it, fold it back or unfold it so that it would be sewn already by the time you do the stitch in a ditch. Obviously I didn't do that, so I'm left with this. And I gotta put the camera on the tripod here, back. Okay, so you see how my stitch in the ditch got all messed up here? You see that? It's not in the ditch anymore, and that really bothers me. If it was in the back, I would let it go, but it's in the front and it bothers me. And then here, the one here, for some reason, is in the ditch, but it shows too much. I don't know why. So I'm going to undo all of this. Here and here. And I'm going to refold it properly. And we'll see what happens. I'm not redoing the whole thing. Though really I should. And you know what? Maybe I will. I don't know. So I'm not gonna say I'm a perfectionist, but I've made the decision. I'm gonna redo the collar. It's on top, so I can continue to do the whole dress. I have enough fabric. I believe I have enough interfacing. Even if I have to piece the interfacing, that's fine. But I will redo the collar. I've made that decision. Why? Because I just want to do a good job. And now I know what I was supposed to do. It makes no sense for me to try to undo this whole thing unless I can undo it all along here and then reopen it so that I can sew it. Let me see. I'll try that first. And if it doesn't work out, I'll just take out the whole thing and redo the entire collar. But what I will do, and this is what I will do moving forward for every time I do a collar. The band here, they give you a pattern, right? I will extend that by 2 inches for any collar that I make, because I had the same problem with the other collar on the purple shirt. The band was just narrowly making it, and that bothers me. I'd rather have extra and cut than having too little and not being able to finish it properly. So food for thoughts. If you have issues with collars like I do, this is only my second collar, okay? If you have issues with collar like I do, just make the collar a little bit longer. And then I was thinking, because I had some issue with this part here getting over the seam, right? So that I could stitch in a ditch, and my problem was that I was afraid I wasn't gonna catch the back if I was doing the stitch in a ditch. I can see myself also making the collar band that goes on the inside, the second shape of it, because you cut 2. The second one, make it actually wider as well. So that way I really have room. So I don't know if these are tricks that seamstresses make on a regular basis to assist and making sure that they have the proper finish. But this is what I'm going to do, because I know now what my mistakes are and where my weaknesses are. Obviously, I'm not good at collars, so I gotta get all the tools possible to make it easier for me. So cut the band longer here, still mark where the dots are, and then cut this part of the collar wider so that when I turn it around or turn it under, I actually catch it with the stitch in the ditch. So without further ado, we're gonna make a cuff and the other sleeve. After that, it's pretty easy. It's the skirt with pockets, which I've never made. So we'll learn how to make pockets. And then the elastic band, the hem, And then all I gotta do is the color. So I'm not gonna be finished today, but I'll definitely be finished by Wednesday. I think I'm gonna swallow those words. I just realized that I should never say things like that because we never know what's gonna happen tomorrow or Wednesday. Anyway, all right, let's get to the sewing table. Okay, so here is the sleeve and here is the cuff. So yesterday what I did was do the gather and ease here on top. That's going to be where the shoulder goes, and then did the same thing at the bottom, right? All of that gather here, and then I pressed the seam open. Now this part here has to fit in this, so we're going to work right side to right side, and what I'm going to do is pull my 2 threads here and here, and I'm going to start the gather. And I don't care if it's too small right now. Right, so I almost made like one of those little bags thing, right? Okay, so next thing you do is take the cuff. Remember yesterday I trimmed a little bit of this here, and what we need to do is insert the cuff right side to right side. So let's turn that the other way. Right, that's better. Okay, so first things first is to match this seam that's on the shirt, on the sleeve, with the seam here on the cuff. And what you do is that you basically right side to right side, you insert this whole thing here into the cuff, and you find your seam, right, and you find this seam right side to right side, and you match them. This is how you get it to place properly. So I'm going to take a pin, and what I'm going to do is insert, I hope you can see the seam right here. I'm going to insert my pin into the seam, and I'm going to look for the seam on the cuff, and I'm going to insert my pin in there. Missed. There we go. And pin that. Now what I gotta do is take all of this gather here and pretty much spread it all around so that it is even. Basting so that all of those gathers and folds stay in place, because what's going to happen as I'm sewing is that they're going to get pushed around. I don't want that. And again, before I start sewing, I go back with my hand in there and I place everything back. I want to make sure that the sleeve is not twisted or anything like this. Right? So that's basically what it looks like. And I think it's pretty even. Pretty even, which is not perfect, but pretty even. I will take it. Okay, next we sew. I'm right here. I'm trying the little tiny tripod trying to do all sorts of different angles here to make sure that I catch what you guys need to see. Let me do a close-up, see if maybe we're gonna get even better. Hold on. How is this? Come on, stay in place. All right. Okay, so 5/8 of an inch, right? And I'm gonna start, you can't see, I'm gonna start here, all right? So you just place your foot like this, and needle down, couple of stitches forward, couple of stitches backward, and you're basically going all around. Now the one thing you want to make sure is that this is pulled at all times, so you don't have a pucker or a fold. And then you got to make sure you rotate your sleeve as you go, because otherwise it gets tangled and then it will pull on your cuff. Next step is to trim the extra right before you get to the seam, because otherwise you get too much bulk inside your cuff. So I'm just trimming a little bit. Okay, and before I go and press, I'm gonna go ahead and remove all of my basting and gather thread. So now I'm on my ironing table, and what I'm going to do is just pull this open, right? So here's my sleeve, and we got to press the seam towards the inside of the cuff. So I'm going to take my sleeve and I'm going to flip it inside out like this. And I'm going to flatten this towards the outside, just to hold it in place. Okay, the next step is to fold this over, just like we did with the collar, which was the part that I messed up. So hopefully we're going to do this right. Okay. So this gets folded. Let's do a half here. And it needs to catch this seam right here. So you got to fold it until it catches it. So the next step now, again, we are on the wrong side of the fabric and this is the right side, right? And what goes that side. So I'm going to take it into the machine just like this, and I'm going to place my foot in a way where I'm going to do a stitch line right before this seam. I'm not doing a stitch in the ditch. I'm doing just a finishing edge right here along the seam. And what's going to happen is that it's going to catch this part behind, so it won't unfold when I place the sleeve into my arm. Alright, so let's see how this angle works. I'm trying to find the angle that's going to give me the best focus. So again, this is the right side of the fabric here. I'm working on that side. Let me move the threads out of the way. I'm placing my foot right here, and I'm actually using, let me see, where's my I don't have anything to point with. I'm using the inside of the foot here as a guide, and that's gonna go and stay along the edges. And my needle, I'm moving it by 2 so that it catches a little bit above that seam. Okay, so I hope you were able to see what I was doing. So now this is the inside, right, with the stitch right here. So I cut quite a lot of that extra cuff, but now we're gonna turn it inside, outside in, or inside out, or whatever, the right way. That's what we're gonna do. And this is what the cuff looks like. Can you see? I'm trying to see on camera. Can you see the finishing edge all around it? Right? Whoops. Right? So the finishing edge is all around. So this is my cuff. And as I mentioned, I think they're a little bit, stay in focus. And as I mentioned, I think they're a little bit too big. But again, I did a size 14, so if I move it like this to my forearm, then I can have this balloon down like this. We'll see. We'll see how it fits. I would not know how to make it shorter. I guess you could do, I don't know. I don't know. I think the cuffs, but I'm just like, these are the measurements that they gave you for size 14. I think it's just too big. But then again, if the sleeve, I haven't tried the top yet, if the sleeve is high on my arm, then it would just fall like this and it doesn't bother anybody. But if it goes like this, then it looks kind of silly. Anyway, I have the half sleeve. All right, let's attach it to the bodice. Okay, sleeves, that's not too hard, especially this one. For some reason, I thought it was pretty easy. So I'm working on the wrong side here. You see I have the seam, that's the side seam. But the sleeve, I'm gonna keep it right side out, and I'm going to go underneath this way. First things first, other than figuring out where the hole of the sleeve is, okay? So when I open this, I would have the right side here, and the right, that's the sleeve I'm holding with this hand, that's the underarm pit I'm holding. So right side to right side. First thing I'm gonna do is match the two seams here, because these two babies need to be exactly facing each other. Grab my seam right here and go get the one on the other side and meet those two. Boom. Okay. Next is the shoulder. There's a dot right here that goes straight on the shoulder seam. So I'm gonna meet my dot and my shoulder seam. Boom. Okay, and now it's just a matter of getting the sleeve hole to fit inside the armhole.
Gaze upon the sky, Christmas on my mind, somewhere from a place apart.
I'm gonna do this angle this time around, which is the best for you, the worst for me. This camera is right in front of me. I'm gonna remove this so that I can place my sleeve into that part right here, so it rolls easier. And just like I did with the cuff, we're going to start where the seam is. So let me place this. I'm doing this long distance, not easy. There we go. Okay, I gotta put my needle back, and before I do that, let me remove this pin. Okay.
Christmas news, hope will find its way to you. Peacefully.
Right, so that angle was great for you, not great for me. But I managed. Okay, so you see I have one line, right? So now what we're gonna do is do another stitching line right above that at about 1/4 of an inch, and once that's done we trim off the excess. So let me do that. I gotta put my camera on the charger anyway. You just do the same thing, you just do it a little bit away from that line and closer, well, not closer to the edge. So if this one is here, you do the next one just about here, and then we'll trim all of this off. So Grace here is going to model at top, which is semi-finish. Forget the color. All right, we're gonna redo it. And first things first, the sleeves are the same length, so that's a plus. Okay, so this is the one I just made. Right, so with the finishing right here, it's not super even, okay, the technique's not there yet, but the shoulder is looking pretty darn good. Let's turn around, madame, and here's the back. Now let's look at the true telltale. Are the seams aligned? And I don't know, what do you think? It looks like it's a little off by a millimeter. Okay, so we'll avoid putting our arms up. In order for this dress to look good and perfect, I will have to walk around with my hand like this all the time and never put my arms up. But now I'm gonna redo the colors. So after that, I think it's gonna be pretty easy. Well, I say that, and of course we're gonna freak out. Let's assemble the skirt. Do you want to see the back? Hold on. And here's the back, and I'm definitely redoing the collar, because now that I see it with good light, look. I can't have this. Sorry, I gotta redo the collar. That will be my last thing. Let's assemble the skirt. So, but first, if you recall, I removed the pattern pieces, so I don't know which part of the skirt is the front and which part is the back. So let me reassemble those and mark them. So far the skirt is not difficult, and by the way, they did mark the front one has 2 notches and the back one has 3 notches, so that was easy. What do you need to do? I already made one. The skirt comes in 4 panels. There's 2 in the front, 2 in the back, which means that you have a seam in the front of you, a seam in the back, and 1 on each side. Okay, 4 panels basically. I'm not crazy about the seam in the front, but I guess it's an easy dress. I think it takes less fabric. You would need a larger length. So what you started, look at the mess. It's a mess in there, right? You take the top part and you do a stay stitch. Can you see the stay stitch on top? All right, that's because this is cut in the bias and it makes it straight and it gives it strength. And then you place it right side to right side and you stitch along 1 length. And basically what it gives you, once it's assembled, that's just the front, right? I have to flatten the seam. It gives you 1 panel, okay? And the other panel is gonna go in the back of it. So I'm going to flatten the seam, do the back, and when I come back, we'll do the pockets, which doesn't seem too complicated for what I understand. I am making pockets. Okay, this is the front of the skirt, right side up. And what you do is that you affix one side of the pocket this way. You stitch it on the right side here. And one side of the pocket here, stitch it on the side here. So what happens next? Because I couldn't figure this out on my own without the instructions. What happens is that you take the back of the skirt and you're going to do exactly the same thing with the back. You put on the outside of the skirt, on the right side, right, of the fabric, you're going to affix your one pocket and then you affix your other pocket. So when I bring them together, the front and the back, what's going to happen is that I'm going to have this pocket thing here. Imagine the back is here, right? That's going to go this way. And that's basically what's creating the pocket, except that when we have the two together, we're going to open them this way. They're going to go like this. I don't know if I'm making this clear. It's kind of difficult to film the pocket idea here. All right, let's go this way. Let's go this way, maybe you understand. All right, so imagine I'm bringing the back. Where's my back? And the back has the pockets attached to it just the same way that I did with the front, right? We're going to do right side to right side this way. Okay, so I'll put my back like this, and the back is going to have its pocket attached to it as well, just like I did here. So this will come out outward too, and I'll put them together this way. Hold down. I'd probably be better off if they were already attached. So anyway, let's just say that this is attached. So what you do then, right, is that when you're ready to sew the side seams of the skirt, what you do is that you sew all the way here, all the way here, all the way around, all the way here, and then you go down the skirt, and then a little bit here. So it's going to create a seam with about this much opening, and your hand is going to go in there, but that will eventually go back inside the skirt. Do I make sense? I don't think I make any sense at all. But I get it, all right? So let me attach this to these pockets to the back, and maybe we'll understand better. Okay, I'll be right back. I'm going to attach the pockets to the back skirt panel. Okay, pocket take two. I am right side to right side. Okay, so I did attach my pocket. So what you do is that you pull this out this way. And then you take your other skirt, the back of it, and this goes this way. Like this. Let me get rid of the bulk. Okay? Alright, so now, before we attach anything, I need to take each pocket. Let me give you a zoom. And I have to press the seam. By the way, these were 3/8 of an inch seam. I got to press the seam towards the pocket, and I got to re-stitch right here. It's called an understitch. I guess it's to make sure the pocket doesn't come off the skirt, because then you'll have a big hole on the side of your hip. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to press the seam towards the pocket and do an extra stitch here. They call it an understitch, and it gives it strength. So I got to do that for all 4 pockets. Then once that's done, and I'm going to apply my pockets on top of each other like this, the stitching goes as follows. You need room for your hands, right? So they give you dots. There's a dot here and a dot there. So you stitch from here to here, all around here, and back to here, right? And then all the way down. So the stitching is the whole length. This is what you can do. You can do the whole length of the skirt. You stop here, you go back here, so there's a gap right here. You go back here like this, up, and then all around the pocket. And when you open it, basically you'll have a seam and then the hole, and that hole will lead into the pocket. These are pretty large pockets. Okay, let's do this. So I'm starting with the bottom of the skirt. All right, and I am going to do, I'm at 5/8, couple of stitches forward, couple of stitches backward. Let me remove this pin, making sure that everything is flat and aligned. And I'm just going all the way up the skirt until I get to the dot where I need to stop. That dot marks where the hole or the gap is supposed to be for my hand to go into the pocket. And I'm following the edges of what I just did, the under stitching. Okay, right about here is the first dot. That's where I should stop. But I know myself. Let's face it, I'm not a delicate flower. When I put my hands in my pocket, I go in there like a banshee. Okay, so I'm looking at the bottom of that pocket where it meets the seam, and it's about that much fabric that holds that pocket to the skirt. I'm pretty sure that's not enough for me. That thing is gonna get ripped open in like maybe 3 tries. So I'm gonna move it up a little bit, just a little bit. So instead of stopping exactly where the dot is, which is right here, right? And the next dot is a little bit here. I know that my hands got enough room, so I'm gonna give myself an extra inch. And I'm gonna stop it at 1 inch. Because I'd rather have a pocket that's a little tight, well, not tight, that just fits my hand, rather than having a pocket that's too wide, and next thing you know, I start putting all sorts of stuff in there and the pocket's gonna rip. I'm doing a bunch of forward and a bunch of backwards here because I want to make sure this stays. Okay, so we're gonna cut our thread. Wrong scissors. So I'm cutting my thread here and underneath. Okay, and now I go and locate my next dot, which is where I should start sewing again. And the next dot is, thank goodness this thing stopped. Okay, the next dot is right here. This I'm gonna keep it the way they want it. Okay, here we go. Couple of stitches forward, couple of stitches backward because I want strength. I don't want this thing to come off. And more. And we're gonna go all the way up to the waist. Couple backwards and forward. Okay, so technically now I have the entire length of the skirt done. So now I gotta do the pocket. And the pocket I'm gonna start from here. You see my, do you see my pocket right here? Okay, so I've done all of this except that I've left this much space here for my hand. If it's too small, I can undo that. That's not a big deal. But now I gotta sew the pocket. So the pocket, I'm still at 5/8. Couple backwards. Let me remove this pin. And off we go. All right, so here's the pocket sewn on the outside, right? So I'm just going to show you what happens once you put the skirt right side out. Let's wear it, it's easier. And this is my first pocket. So skirt goes like this, and I made a pocket. Scott, I made a pocket.
You made a pocket! Yay!
Look, guys, I made a pocket. And my hand fits great. This is all I need for size. I don't need it. Can I put my phone in? This is gonna be this is a Galaxy 10. Boom! It fits in my pocket.
Booyah!
Booyah! I got a pocket. But I think this is the left side of the skirt that I made. And there's so much material here, okay? Look at how much left I have. Me and my... Oh, I'm gonna do size 14. It's gonna be right size for me. Nah, more like a 10 now, guys, okay? 40 pounds, 40 pounds. Okay. Now, I don't know if the pocket is supposed to go in the front. Yeah, I guess it does go. Yeah, who puts a pocket in the back? Of course it goes in the front. I got a pocket. Now, why is this doing this? Probably because I'm pulling and it needs to be pressed. But I got a pocket. Now, can you see the underside stitching here? Right here. There's two lines. Can you see it? There's two lines of stitching right here. So I got a pocket. All right, let me put the skirt. I'm going to pin it. I'm not going to do the other pocket. Look at how much fabric I got here. This is going to be like really, really drapey. So you won't see the gaping here. Plus it needs to be pressed. I'm going to press it. And I'm going to put it on Miss Grace here. And we're going to see what it looks like. So I would love to jump up and down now, but I can't because of the camera. I have very loosely attached, well, pinned, the skirt to the bodice so that you can see what it looks like. And here's the pocket. Not super invisible. There's I don't know, but there's a pocket. I'm trying to do that with my left hand, which is kind of difficult. So it is exactly 6 o'clock. 6:01 to be exact. And I said I would stop at 6 o'clock. So what do you guys think? Grace is taller than me, by the way, by not much. So this skirt is definitely gonna have to have a serious hem. I have to find the right height that doesn't make me look like I got cankles. But this is looking really, really, really cool. And I love, hold on, we're gonna put our hand in our pocket. Hold on. There you go. We put our hand in our pocket. Are we relaxed or what? I made a pocket. This is great. I love it. I think the dress is absolutely stunning. It's got this, it's got a vintage flair to it, but the fabric, because it's linen and cotton, gives it even more age. We're talking like maybe early 1900s. You see what I mean? Can you imagine this with a little white apron? Oh. I think it's great. I am so happy that I made this as my first dress. I think that if I have done something like a shirt dress, you know, like a denim shirt dress, I would not have enjoyed it. Well, I would still wear it, but, well, hold on. That's the tunique that I made earlier in October. When was it? I can't remember. No, it was in June. Does that tunique fit as a dress? Not really. This is a dress, okay, with pockets. I can't wait to redo the collar. I think that if I do good on everything else, it deserves to have the right collar. It deserves to have a collar that's made properly. So I will redo the collar. I tell you what, tomorrow I'm gonna do a review on a tea monthly subscription. I got a Simplicity tea monthly subscription as a gift to myself for Christmas. I got 3 months just to see, and then if I like it, I'll keep doing it. And I've contacted them and they agreed to do a giveaway. So tomorrow I'll do a demo of a presentation on Simplicity teas and their subscription, and then I'll try the teas, or maybe I'll try just 1 or 2 to see what they like, and you'll drop a comment below if you want to win 1 box. They agreed to send you 1 box, not a subscription, just 1 box so you can try. So I'll do that first, and then I'll come back down here. I'll do the second pocket, and then I'll do the waist with the band, and I'll do the hem if I have time. And then on Wednesday or even Thursday morning, I'll redo the collar. And I am definitely wearing this for New Year's Eve, and it's gonna look wonderful. The color is beautiful. I want to make it in different colors now. I want to try it in a chiffon. I want to try it in polka dot, red with white polka dot. This is great. And let me see how much ampleness do we have on the skirt. I mean, come on, look at this. we got it's ample. It's nice, very nice. Because it's linen and cotton mix, it's a little heavy. And I don't know how it's gonna withstand with regards to the wrinkles once you sit down, but anyway, what a beauty. I'm very pleased with myself. Maybe I shouldn't, but you know what? I'm learning to sew, and I'm amazed that I'm picking up on skills. I started yesterday being very disappointed, but now I've made the decision to redo the color. I feel much better about this because I want to learn and I want to do a good job. So I'm gonna say goodbye now. I will see you tomorrow. Remember, tomorrow I'm working until 12 for my job, and after that I'll do a tea review, and then we'll come back downstairs. I'll probably won't film the other pocket because I just showed you how to do that, so I'll just zip through the left pocket because this one was the right one, and then when I meet you again for sewing, we will be doing the waist with the elastic band. I've never done that before, so that might be interesting. And then we'll hem the dress, and I'll be done. No, I just have to redo the collar. I'm very happy. I love it. I am so glad that I've decided to learn to sew. So happy. This is bringing me an unmeasured amount of joy. And I don't know if you guys catch on that, but the enthusiasm is real. I'm so relaxed. I don't even have a body ache, nothing. I'm so happy I've done this. This was my resolution for this year, was to learn to sew, and I think that I'm doing pretty darn good. Remember the debacle with my mom's purse? Look where I'm at now. You can too. You can too if you choose to. You can too. All right, guys. I will see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Bye.